Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's Rabbi Stephen here. Rob Shmuel ben Yehoshua, yes, Rashbi in the house, wearing matching shirt and yarmulke. Just because we're Jewish doesn't mean we can't be a little fashionable, right? So thank you all, those who joined us Saturday morning, and thank you for letting us join you on Saturday morning for Shabbat Shachrit. I want to thank, of course, Salif, Youssef, and Bronte for joining us. And Brian, thank you for bringing them. Nadagwa, you guys have some great kids. And, thank you for participating and helping me do the service. Hope you enjoyed it. So let's get into this week's portion, and it's a very special portion. Shelach lecha, take for yourself. And here we have the episode of the spies. So Numbers is a real interesting book. We've discussed this before. The plot thickens. A lot of things happen in Numbers. We've had the beginning of creation in Genesis. We've had the Exodus, where we've had God remembering his commitment, his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He remembers the Israelites who have now grown in number and are being downtrodden, being slaves, forced into slavery by the Egyptians, whose dynasty has changed to a very xenophobic dynasty. We've had Leviticus, where we've had all the laws, and now Numbers. The Israelites are out in the wilderness, and now some demands are being placed on them. Think about this. So during this, leading up to this, God is taking care of them. There's been the cloud during the day to shield them, to camouflage them. There's been the fire at night, so they could see. There's been instructions to build a tabernacle to start this thing that we're now going to call Judaism, this beautiful religion we have. We've gotten the laws. People are being fed the manna. They've been getting meat every now and then. And now God said, okay, I've done this for you in a sense. Now let's see your end of the covenant. So God tells Moses, Shelach lecha, take for yourself or do for yourself, send some spies to look over the land if you want. Now, here's the controversy with this particular portion, okay? God has done so many things for the Israelites, for our ancestors out in the wilderness. He's given us the Ten Commandments, given us his Torah, his law, his this is how the universe works, this is how you succeed. He's fed us, he's sustained us, he's given us shelter. And he says, go take the land. And people are still, human nature. People are still, we're still not sure. We want to see it for ourselves. So God says to Moses, if you want, go ahead and do the spies. Does it represent a little bit of doubt as far as God's word saying, go take the land, I'll be with you? Yeah, it does. Or some people will say, but hey, it's human nature. We want to see for ourselves. But that idea of doubt really follows them because the 12 spies go into the land of Canaan to scout it out. And of course, who do we have? Part of those 10 was Caleb ben Yefuneh, okay, and Yehoshua ben Nun. And Yehoshua up to this point was Hosea. And Moses puts the Yud in front of his name so that the two first letters of his name is Yud He Yah, which means God. So in other words, now God's going to watch over you. Caleb actually didn't really need that, did he? Which is a real interesting contrast, because when the spies go into the land, Caleb kind of goes by himself a little bit to Hebron to visit the tombs of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah. He wants to go see his ancestors. And legend has it that Adam and Eve were also buried there, so according to Kabbalah. So they come back, and what happens? The spies, they give this. It wasn't really a false report. It was just exaggerated. They said, wow, the people there are mighty. I don't know. We don't know that we can stand up to them. The feeling, the giants were there. And, we were like grasshoppers, the famous line, right, that everybody quotes. We were like grasshoppers in our eyes, and so we were to them. In other words, there's no way. Caleb, of course, and Joshua are like, come on, guys, this is God. Look what he's done for us now. Do you really think he's going to abandon us? Do you not think that he's going to be with us when we take the land? But again, human nature. You're dealing with this slave mentality. You're dealing with people that didn't know how to be free. They were slaves for the last 120 years. They have no concept of freedom. So, what's the next question? The next question is, well, then how could God possibly expect these people to rise to the occasion? Okay, let's look at that for a minute. Some people go through life. Okay, what's that expression? Hope your may your reach exceed your grasp. Some people make it because they say, you know what? It doesn't matter whether some people think it's not possible. I'm going to do it. I'm going to push it. Now, some people, they don't go for it. They go for it a little bit, and then they kind of pull back and they say, am I really going to make it doing this? Maybe I should do something else. And that's okay too. It's not a matter of doubt. It's a matter of, what's going to work out better for me in my life. Should I pursue this dream of art, or should I do something that's traditional that I know is going to work out a little bit better? There's risk and then there's risk. But the point is that it's different here, okay? Because some of us maybe our dreams aren't realistic. Okay, maybe they're a little bit out of our grasp, and it's not something bad. It's not like we're giving up on our dreams. It means that I'm going to take stock of what I can do in life, and this is going to work out better. Okay, but when you've got 2 million people that have seen God, they saw God give the Ten Commandments. They've seen God provide food and water. They've seen God protect them. What more do you need? Okay. So some people might say, well, this was really a setup. Okay. God knew that these people would never, they weren't able, they were not emotionally or psychically able to rise to the occasion. Why? Because sometimes you just kind of got to go through the motions just to do it. Okay. So God tells them, all right, you guys were gone for 40 days, a day for a year. You're going to spend 40 years in the wilderness until that generation dies off, and we get a new generation of Israelites that were born in the desert, that are hardy, that are brave, that want it that badly. They're going to go do it, and they're going to understand that they're going to do it. So maybe that's what had to happen. That was preordained, if you will. God knew that that generation had to die off in the desert so that their descendants, their children and their descendants, had a better feeling of taking the land. So 40 years they're going to wander. Of course, the people get upset. No, they change their mind. No, we'll do it. They run, they try to fight and they get defeated real easy, and that's it. So now Moses is talking to God. And I know this is a little obscure, but I want to bring it to your attention anyway, these next 2 points, okay? Because it's part of Torah, right? So one part of Torah is that as the people are getting worried that, there's giants and there's mighty warriors living in the land, and how could they possibly succeed? What do? They go back and they say, we should have been in Egypt where life was good. Now, the Hebrew word for good is tov, and tov is in the text of the Torah. Now, a lot of us, most of us, if not all of us, understand that there's 3 different parts of reading Torah. Okay, there's of course the letters, the consonants, and there are in the Chumash there are the nakud marks, the vowels, how to enunciate the words, and the final is the cantillation, and we're familiar with the cantillation, Baruch Atah Adonai. Okay, we also know that. There are Torah cantillations, which are a little not as embellished, Every once in a while, there is a cantillation that is a little unusual. Now, back in Genesis, I think it was the third to the last portion, when Joseph, was trying to fend off the advances of Pharaoh's wife, that was alone. She sees this nice looking guy, and she wants to have an affair with him. He's trying to avoid her. There's this cantillation called Shelach. It kind of goes back and forth, and it's there to show, and it appears only 4 times in the Torah, but it's there to show his wavering. Like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Okay. There's another such cantillation here, Mercha Pufula, and it's like these 2 little apostrophes on the bottom, and it's kind of like da 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 da, and a tov, and it's the cantillation for tov to emphasize the fact that these people were like, it was good. What do you say when you want to emphasize something? Hey, it's really good, right? And it's emphasizing that that's what the people thought. Now, Moses goes to God. And in the description, when he says, you're great and revered, the Yud, Yigadal, which is you were great, he was great, or it's kind of a command form of the word gadol, which is great and big. He's letting God know, you're so revered. You're better than this. You're better than punishing these people because God is like, once again, I'm going to make you a great people. Just like he said after the golden calf, I'm just going to eliminate them and people are going to come from you. And Moses is pleading. So it's interesting, and God and Moses says, gives him back, some of the 13 attributes. You're merciful, and you're rewarding people to the thousandth generation for their good deeds. So he's kind of buttering up God, and hence the yud, the larger yud, the letter there, to show that Moses was doing that. So God decides that, okay, I'm not going to kill off the people. You're in charge. Take care of it. Okay, so let's leave it off there. Thank you very much for listening. And thank you for tuning in. There'll be no service this week. We will have a Friday night service in a week after this one. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for tuning in.